Okay, here we go. Phobias do not appear in a vacuum. Something sets you up to be controlled by fear. Do you understand what I just said? Phobias do not appear in a vacuum. Remember, there's only two fears everybody's born with. And that's the fear of loud sounds and the fear of falling. Why? Because for 9 months, they've been in their mama's belly. And they've been jostled around and hearing all these noises. So loud noises and falling. It's the only two fears anybody is born with. Others are acquired fears. Acquired fears. Acquired. Alright? It's just like prejudice is acquired. Hatred of some folks, it's acquired. Although some are more prone to it than others, still, because they may be melancholic, or they may be choleric or caloric, and so they're more prone to it. But again, and then the same ones like me, or the skip to the loo, my darling. Okay, so phobia is not appearing in a vacuum. Something sets you up to be controlled by fear, and something serves to trigger that fear. Remember, you're set up to be controlled. You're controlled by, number one, think about the same. You're controlled by this fear. Here's what you think about. Have you ever heard of a claymore mine?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, all the military guys have heard of a claymore. You take it, put it where you want. You make it go. You can detonate it. Okay. Yeah. So here's what happens is that claymore is set there, and Satan takes that claymore, sets it there, and when he sees the right time coming, he pops it. All right. So here we go. The setup occurred in the past. Listen to this now. Listen carefully. The setup occurred in the past. The trigger occurs in the present. Something back there set it up. But something here triggers it. You know what? There's a lot of things back there that trigger stuff or set us up for failure. A lot of stuff. People have said things to you. People have done things to you. And you can be going around having a perfectly good day, and all of a sudden you hear their voices. You know, I woke up this morning to a beautiful little angel voice. I don't even know who the angel voice was. And I'm trying to sing the song, but I can't remember if I can sing it all right. But I'm trying to sing a little bit. And I'm not the angel, and I'm hoarse. But here he is. Here's how I woke up to. Life is a few days of trouble, a wise man once said. But I have no fear, because I'm clothed, I'm not hungry, I'm fed. And all my frustrations, I can't remember all the part, here it goes. The only real peace that I have, dear Lord, is in you. The only real peace, sing it, that I have, dear Lord, is in you. Wasn't that powerful? The hymn hills. That's how I was awakened.
You never heard that before?
Yeah, the hymn hills. Yeah, but I wasn't hymn hills singing, but I looked up on YouTube after that, and then I let her sing it. And the hymn hills sing. But it was just, I heard that beautiful angelic voice, because all that stuff, you know what I'm saying? And sometimes I say, Lord, you know, can there be a little bit of peace? Just a little bit of calmness for just a little while, and there it goes. So here we go.
I went to bed Thursday night, first night of the walk with a fear. Tuesday night and Wednesday night, I had both nights I had been awakened around 4 o'clock in the morning with a bad back with vertigo. I mean, it was terrible. 2 nights in a row, and I laid down. When we finally got to bed, I laid down and I said, I don't think I'm going to sleep tonight. If I have vertigo tonight, I'm going to be wide awake. I finally, in the wee hours of the morning, went on off to sleep, and but I prayed about it. We prayed about that. Frankie had me on the Facebook prayer chain all over the world, and so the vertigo didn't go, but I was just so fearful that I was going to have a back with that vertigo.
Oh yeah. So here we go. Here's the key contributors to phobia. Fear. An acronym. According to Larry.
I really don't know an acronym.
All right, ready? F. Former experiences. Former experiences. Former experiences are typically, here they are, this is just a few of them, but if I'm talking to somebody that's experiencing a fear, especially if it's unrealistic, here's usually when I get digging, because when you start digging, here's where you find it. As you begin to dig, you will see this, you will hear this, all right? As you start digging, all right? So watch this now. Former experiences. Somebody give it, let's see. Get them some paper. Somebody give them a paper. But that's what I have. How you doing, young man? You're looking good. I know you can't help it. Carrying him high. He's gonna be a boy. Did I hear what I told Marina? Marina's got her baby strapped to her. I said, she's carrying him high tonight. It's going to be a boy. All right. So fear. We're talking about fear and phobias. All right. So here's the key contributor to phobias. Number one, F, former experiences. And the former experiences are typically, number one, a traumatic experience. Now, I know we've all had traumatic experiences in here. Matter of fact, this actually a phobia, post-traumatic stress disorder. Post-traumatic stress disorder, the number one cause of post-traumatic stress disorder in this nation is car wrecks. That's the number one. But there's other things that can cause it too. And all these down here can cause PTSD, but also just traumatic experiences. And PTSD, usually what happens is if you're experiencing PTSD, usually whatever triggered that PTSD, when you get around it, you start acting irrational. Whatever triggered it, you act most irrational around. Although the PTSD, again, like we talked about, something the size of an ant is the size of a bear in your eyes. And every threat with PTSD and phobias is, remember, that little bitty ant. All you got to do is get around that ant. You see that great big grizzly, and you automatically, your body goes into overdrive to either escape from that bear or to fight that bear. When actually, all it is an ant. Okay? Think about it. Here you are. Have you ever been with somebody that's experiencing something like that? And wow, wow. You're sitting back thinking, I don't understand what's going on with that person. You know, because this has been something simple. This is simple. What's going on with that person? But again, to what you look like, looks like an ant. To them is that grizzly. And like I said, they're either going to go into overdrive. They're going to go into high adrenaline mode to either run, fight, or flee. They're not going to freeze usually. It's going to fight or flee. That big old grizzly bear. Now that's why a lot of guys, there's been guys, I used to work with somebody that had a brother that was that saw a lot of action in Vietnam, and his wife was awakened on several occasions. He was at the foot of the bed in the middle of the night, in the middle of a battle, and he was calling out calling out orders on the radio, and trying to protect his men, and calling out orders on the radio for them to come and drop bombs, machine gun cover, and it was just, she said it was just terrible for that stuff like that to happen. But again, this is a connection. This is not phobia. This is a connection. PTSD is usually a common cause of a phobia. Okay? So it's childhood sexual abuse or rape, a car accident, or the death of a loved one. And the death of a loved one, you might mark beside it how they died and their age at death. Because if, and the circumstances, which is how they died, just say circumstances and their ages. Because if I have a 95-year-old aunt die, that's a whole lot different on me than if I have an 8-year-old nephew, 8-year-old son die. So, and the circumstances. If I have somebody 40 years old, a brother 40 years old, and he's having cancer, and honestly it seems a relief for him to go to God. You know, my uncle done told me, he said, I think I'm not taking any more treatment. He was in the hospital last week, Uncle Ralph. And Uncle Ralph told me, he said, I don't think I'm taking any more treatment. He said, he said, it's not working. Things are just getting out of hand. He said, I just want to go and be with God. And I gave my phone to my dad. My dad wouldn't talk to him, so I was in the emergency room. I get the phone to my dad, and I hear my dad tell Uncle Ralph, said, you had a bad day, huh? And Uncle Ralph said, no, it was a good day. And I heard Dad say, why do you say that? And he said, because I'm one step closer to my Lord. You know, and so again, Uncle Ralph goes. I hate to see him go, but the condition, he's 78 or 9, and his condition, he's with cancer and he's in constant turmoil. But now, my cousin, my age, died a few weeks ago, and then another cousin, you know, Lewis, and Roy, I mean, both of those were cousins, and they both died unexpectedly. They both died of heart problems. And I remember going to I saw the rescue squad at my cousin's house. I ran over I said, Lord, please let me get there and talk to him if something's wrong. And my son was even saying, I hope Dad's getting a chance to go talk to him. And because he wouldn't hear me, he wouldn't talk to me about this stuff. And so as I'm on the way, I'm outside as they take him out. And he's unconscious. He never made it. They took him right straight to the south side, and he died before he got to the helicopter. But I felt better because my Uncle Ralph said the day before, he had just told him the plan of salvation and told him, I can't take you to heaven in my back pocket. I can't take you to heaven in my suitcase. You got to go on your own. And he explained it to him. And they talked about death and where he wanted to be buried and how, all that stuff the day before. He did not know he was going to die. So I believe God gave him another chance. You know? But again, that was different. And again, how they died, and just said somebody was killed in a car wreck, or somebody was shot in a drive-by, or something like that. You know, that's a whole lot different way. So it can be more traumatic on you. Scare tactics. Sometimes we're trying to be good. The boogeyman's going to get you. The boogeyman's coming out to you.
He lived in the attic at my grandmama's house.
Yeah. Or just like this guy that died, Jonathan Bond, he kept telling his kids about Scarrow. Scarrow, she's going to come get you if y'all don't behave. And this was kind of funny. Emily said, one night she's laying in the bed, she says, Dad, I'm kind of worried about Scarrow. He says, you ain't got to be worried about Scarrow. He says, yeah, Dad, I'm really kind of upset about Scarrow. And she said, where does Scarrow live? He said, under your bed. But let's go from that. But that was just something that came to me while we were doing this. Scare tactics usually by others.